Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, February 8th, 2021. How are you guys doing today? It is currently snowing. It's a pretty snow outside today. It's like a snow globe snow, like light, puffy flakes, dry flakes, but like they're just gently falling to the ground. Although there's a lot of them. I think we're going to get some accumulation from this. But at least it's a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. It's like 14 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So a lot warmer than it was when it was sub-zero, but still a bit chilly for the run today. How are you guys all doing today? Everyone listening on the podcast, hopefully you guys are having a good run. Everyone watching this on YouTube, not live, but after the fact, welcome. So glad to have you here as well. Let's see how things are going today with everyone who's here live. Frank came in first and says that, of course, for the El Paso Marathon on Sunday, goes around a golf course clockwise 2 times, then out and back on the bike path, then around the golf course counterclockwise once, then do it all again. That seems like a lot. I mean, that seems like it would be more like, if you explain that to me, I'd be like, that, are we sure we're just doing a 26? It seems like a lot, but Frank says it's a staggered start, so no one will be able to point you the right direction if you lose what lap you're on. There's a part where you have to cross in front of people going the opposite way. That sounds like those stories. You guys were telling me all these stories about times when you guys were in races and like trains would be crossing over the course, and you'd have to, if you didn't make it in front of the train, like you were stuck. Like it was like some sort of old like cop chase scene movie from like the 80s. That sounds like a little bit ridiculous. But I feel like people are doing the best they can, but I feel like with racing the way that things are these days, like I feel like that's been pretty common, where it's just kind of like a little bit confusing and a little bit hectic when it comes to races. Ben Parks did a 10K, and I'm not sure what it was, but it was like the 10K people, it was just like on a race, like an auto racetrack, and then like the 10K people were supposed to like go out a certain amount, and then a guy on a bike was just going to at a certain point turn around, and you're supposed to turn around where the bike guy turned around, and then go around the loop, and then it would be 10K or something like that. But that bike guy messed it up, so I don't know. It could be weird, but I suppose I guess you would know. I don't know if the race people would know, but it'd be like that's a different kind of like course cutting than has existed. But that's the thing, like remember before everything happened, people cutting the course, like getting like vanity times, was like a big deal. Do you guys remember that? Everyone was like, they were like looking for like footage of people. People would track other people and like look at their progression over the years and be like, there's no way this person improved this much, and they would look for ways to catch like cheaters that way. It was a weird thing. It was like Strava wanking, but like to like the nth degree. But people were doing that. Are still people doing that? People still doing that anymore, or I don't know. What's the deal with that? Are we going to see that again? A resurgence of that? That'll be interesting. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Ines is here, says hi Kofuzi and everyone. What's going on, Ines? Rick Sutter's here as well. Here early. Jody's here early as well. Man, you guys, the timestamps on these are like 2:45. You guys got here early. Emmanuel Medina says, hello, all you fine people. I mean, I think Curtis Loss is here as well. I think what you guys are doing is like you're turning it on, and then like you just wait. It's on in the background until it turns on. So I don't think you guys are just like sitting here, but good to see you guys. Rats Chicago. This is warm Monday wishes to all. I mean, it was warmer. But today for my run, I had my thin gloves, my hand warmers, and my electric gloves on, and still my hands were cold. My hands were definitely like the weak spot for me. That was the part that felt the coldest. So I'm going to adjust this mic here. And if you guys are going to hear snoring today, the dog is exhausted. All right. Jana wants to know. Jana's here. She says, hi, everyone. But she also wants to know, how do you get a well-glued-in insole out of the shoe? That's tough. I don't know that you can get it out of the shoe without like destroying the insole, which is fine. I'm assuming if you want to take the insole out, it's because you want to put a different one in. But a lot of times when they're non-removable like that, like when they are glued in, the part that's glued really tightly is usually going to like remain there. So you'll have to like get in there and like scrape it out. I would say if you have to absolutely get it out, is tear out the part you can tear out, and then whatever part is still stuck in there, You can try and get in there with some sort of like a plastic scraper, like a plastic paint scraper kind of thing in there to try and get that part off, with the help of some sort of like glue or adhesive, like solvent, like something that dissolves glue, like goo, like I think it's called Goo Gone or something like that. In the US anyway, there's products that are kind of in that category. That's what I would say. All right, Rat says, I haven't found the motivation to run in the negatives here lately, so feeling a little lost in my ways of sorts. Hoping to fall back into it ASAP. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Today I was not looking forward to the run. I was like a little bit chilly just waking up at home. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a long run. I'm supposed to have a long run today. Mondays are my long run days now with the plan that I'm on. And so I was like, I couldn't do more than 5 miles yesterday. I don't know how I'm going to do like a dozen or 13. Yeah, I just went. Fortunately, it wasn't windy today, so I got lucky. If it were windy, it would have been miserable, and I don't know if I would have finished it. But I just felt like, we'll get out there for a little bit. If I can get, I'm going to shoot for 12 to 13. If I can get 4 or 5, I'll be happy. So that's kind of like what has been my approach to it. All right. Sarah Mims says, hi all, watched the February 4th replay live stream during my iron infusion on February 5th. Got me through it and was a much needed distraction. Awesome. We'll do the same for my 4th infusion this week. Appreciate these live streams. Well, awesome, Sarah. Thanks for watching. I'm glad that you're enjoying them at a time where you need some distraction. So I'm very happy that we can all provide that for you. That's awesome. And I hope the infusions go well. How many more do you have to get? Chris Dyke is here as well, says hello all. JC's here. Yeah, he says happy Monday. Hope it's been a good one at least. Yeah, I've been having a good day, I think. Chris Yao says, just got a new subwoofer and testing the neighbor's tolerance for YouTube playlist. Classic heavy metal ballads. Rock on, good people. That's funny. That's very funny. I wouldn't want to be your neighbor right now, I guess. Sue says, hi, everyone. Runner Dre's here as well. Good to see everybody. Yeah, Jason Dahl says, it's snowing again in Chicago. It sure is. It was snowing during my run, but like just kind of like very, very faint snow. I'm not even sure how much of it would have like showed up on camera. But by the time I was done, it was snowing. And since then, like the entire day, it's been snowing. I didn't even think we were going to get any snow today. But then I saw like on the forecast, like a chance of it in the weather forecast before I left this morning. And now it's just been snowing all day. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Stevie76 wants to know if there's a Super Bowl's leftover from Monday Mukbang. No, I did eat leftovers for lunch today, but we didn't make anything special for the Super Bowl. My favorite thing I used to make for a Super Bowl was I would make like ribs and buffalo chicken dip. But, I don't eat either of those things anymore. And we don't really watch the Super Bowl anymore. So we were eating dinner yesterday at about our usual time, like a little bit around 6 o'clock. And, we're sitting around with the family and I'm like, do you guys want to watch the Super Bowl today? And the kids are like, yeah, I want to watch the Super Bowl. That sounds fun. And then my wife's like, what time did it start? I'm like, let me look it up. So I have to look it up on my phone. I'm like, it started at 6:30. Oh, Eastern. So it's been on for like half an hour already. Whoops. So we watched it for a little while. And then like we had it on like during dinner. And then after dinner, I was in the kitchen cleaning up. And then my girls are like, Dad, can we change the channel? We don't want to watch this anymore. So we didn't watch very much of it. I didn't get very far. Yeah. My favorite thing of all the Super Bowl things, I'll tell you my least favorite thing. My least favorite thing that I've seen from the Super Bowl is all the memes going around from like the weekend in that weird like light maze thing. And everyone's like on Twitter saying like, what it's like. Like MKBHD had like, when you're looking for a charger and your phone's at 1%, like those kinds of things. The track ones I thought were a little bit funnier. Like someone, I forget who it was, but someone wrote like, a track coach looking for people to run the 4x4. I thought that was kind of funny. But then there's just like a lot of them. And it got very old very fast. So that was probably my least favorite thing of the Super Bowl. My favorite thing of the Super Bowl was something ESPN had tweeted something about Tom Brady like coming in to the stadium and he had his earbuds in and they're like, what do you think he's listening to? And multiple people had like responded to that saying it's like he's not listening to the CDC, which I thought was pretty funny that many people had come to like, because he didn't have a mask on or anything when he was coming in. And many people had said like the exact same thing. So I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, I was surprised that no one said something like, he's listening to a rant from the My Pillow guy. But yeah, so that was pretty funny. That was probably my favorite thing. I didn't really watch any of the game at all. And we didn't cook anything special for it. So I do feel like I'm like not deprived. I guess I'm kind of deprived. I'm kind of depriving my kids of that cultural experience. But I mean, like, I can in a pandemic year, I care about it at like pretty much zero. How much they're missing out on the experience of it. Like maybe next year we'll like have some people over or something. I don't know. All right. Okay. My chats just kind of like jump down every time I get behind by a certain amount. It like just pushes me down to the bottom. I guess encouraging me to stop ranting so much. So if I missed your chat, sorry about that. Anyone new? If you had a question, you put it in there. I've missed it. Feel free to write it again. I apologize for making you have to repeat yourself, but sometimes I just can't keep up. But if you did come here, like it's your first time, I want to make sure that you do get your question answered. So feel free to be persistent and I'll make sure to catch it. Yeah. And if it is your first time, welcome. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Louis Becerra says about the Super Bowl. Says you didn't miss anything good, Kofuzi. Don't worry. Well, just the funny commercials. Yeah, but I feel like all the funny commercials now, everyone tries to get so much play out of them that you see them on YouTube beforehand anyway. And I didn't see anything good on YouTube really, or any of the other channels, or like on Twitter. And today, even the day after, I didn't see anything like that really stood out. I thought that Bruce Springsteen commercial was pretty nice. I like that one. But yeah. Super Schmaltz, what's going on? She says, we watched most of the game. Didn't cook anything for it because we were more concerned about picking up enough food to get through the super cold weekend when I went to the store on Thursday. Yeah, that's for sure. It's been cold. I actually did take the girls out for our walk during recess time today. And I was like, this could go really bad because, when the weather gets real bad, they both kind of like shut down a little bit. And then it just becomes like, not torture, but it just seems like I'm like dragging them around. But they had fun in the snow. But it's been cold. It's been cold. Yeah. And stocking up on food, it could be difficult enough in and of itself. Stevie 76 says, welcome to the first timers. What a great sentiment. Thanks, Stevie. All right. Emmanuel Medina says, I'm running with the Carbon X2, my first carbon plated shoe. Wow. Definitely faster, but felt like it worked out my legs more, especially my calves. That's interesting. I mean, if it's going to be setting you up a little bit different than kind of like non-carbon plated shoes. So it'd be normal to feel some differences in, I guess, I don't know that I've ever felt it necessarily in my calves, but depending on how you run, you might feel it differently like the following day because you're working different parts of your leg a little bit. But I don't think that's necessarily bad, especially if it's just kind of like your first time. But if it's consistently that, and it's working your legs and the calves more. I've not heard of that before. Well, I don't know. Like I've heard of it like affecting people's quads. Some people say that the carbon plated shoes overload the quads in a negative way. And I think a lot of that is because of like the timing of like when the foot hits the ground and when your leg pushes off. Sometimes if the timing is not right or doesn't jive well with your foot, it can make you work a little bit harder sometimes. So, yeah. So that might be it. But, let me know how that goes for you, man. All right, I think I saw there was a question up here that I might have missed. All right, here we go from Finley. It says, hey, I messed up my knee, so I only got to get back to training after a break for like 2 weeks. But I'm aiming for the San Francisco Marathon this summer and track season. Are you planning on the New York Marathon? I don't have any plans for it. But I am kind of keeping an eye open for it in terms of when they're actually going to start taking like lottery registrations. So like basically for me in the New York Marathon, I'm thinking, I don't know that I'll ever run fast enough for a guaranteed entry into the New York Marathon. It's pretty tight. So for me, it's basically going to be if I can get into the lottery. And my kind of thought on that is I'll just apply for the lottery every year. And if I ever get it, I get it. If I ever don't, then, so be it. That's kind of how I feel about it. Brett Reed said, buying some shoes to run in the snow. Peg Trail GTX. Probably only put about 100 miles on them per winter. I think the foam will be okay for next winter. Yeah, I think so. A lot of times people will, I've heard this at running stores. People are saying shoes have an expiration date. You get to use them for 1 year. After a year, you should kind of get rid of them. But I feel like as long as you're, in some sort of temperature control, something where the temperatures aren't changing super crazy, I think that they'll be fine to last you over the course of a year from one winter to the next. So I'm not too worried about that being the case. I think it should be fine. But if they're in an attic where in the summer it could get really hot and in the winter it might get a little bit colder, then I might be a little bit more concerned. But if it's just going to stay in the back of your closet somewhere for the entire year, I think that it'll be fine. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Stevie76 says, the Team USA Toyota commercial made me cry. Was that the one about the adopting the girl who was the woman who's a swimmer? Is that one? Is that the one that people are talking about? I saw that one. I didn't see a lot of them, but I saw that one. That one was pretty amazing. Benoit says, from an outsider perspective, the idea of purposefully watching commercials for fun is strange to me. Yeah. It is. It certainly is. But I appreciate, that's why I especially appreciate Twitter. Because then if I don't watch the game, I'll still, I'll have the privilege of watching the advertisement. But, I think that for something like the Super Bowl, it's kind of not to say that advertisers aren't really trying the rest of the year, but I feel like people really step up and you're getting to see some of the best of the best, at least in terms of, short-term creativity. And so, yes, they're selling a product, right? But for the most part, at least for in the beginning of the game, those first handful of commercial breaks, it's a chance for brands to really tell people about their brand and to connect with people, hopefully on an emotional level, rather than hey, check out all these product features kind of level. And so that's where I feel like things are really interesting, and where I think that a lot of brands can really take not a position from a political standpoint, but take a stance on this is our brand, these are our brand values, this is what these are the kinds of things that we want to associate with. Now, of course, there's also funny ones like Doritos and Pepsi and Bud Light tend to have really funny ones. Although Budweiser this year said that they weren't going to do a commercial this year because they wanted to spend that same money on vaccination efforts or something like that. So I appreciate that too. That sticks out in my mind more than any commercial that they could have made. So yeah, so I mean it's very strange, but I also think that it's kind of like a weird mini film festival, a very, very short film festival in a way, kind of. But the other thing is you're usually watching them with your, friends, and it becomes more of like a film festival, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Louis M says, what's on the menu for Mukbang Monday? Nothing on the menu for today. I am drinking some Noon in a Martin bottle, but so I've got that. It does have some caffeine in it, but I am going to try and stick to not drinking coffee so late. But this still does have caffeine in it. Not as much caffeine as coffee though. So yeah. So nothing for today. I just got kind of off in terms of my planning, in terms of what I was going to buy. And I was thinking at the last minute, my wife finally was able to get some kimchi ordered from some of the grocery delivery places. She got some at Whole Foods. So I was going to maybe eat that, but I'm I don't know. Is that a little bit too on the nose for a mukbang to just taste kimchi? And also what do I eat? Just to eat kimchi by itself is weird. That's not really how you eat kimchi, but I thought about it, but I was no, we'll just do a regular live stream today. Angry Barrow says, hope you're doing good. It's been a while since I was here. Oh, it's good to see you again. He says, if I remember, I had a problem with my insole on the Alpha Flies. Now after 15 Ks, it's used to my foot and it's amazing. All right. Really nice. I feel like sometimes with shoes generally, I do feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, this insole, like the insole part, not the insole, but the arch, sometimes it's like poking me. That's something that I will get sometimes, and that's usually like the only kind of like break-in issue that I still see with some sort of regularity in 2021 or in 2020. But I'm glad that it's working out. Yeah, I've been wanting to run in the Alpha Flies lately, especially for some of these workouts that I've been doing. But though, I mean, I just don't know that it'll really work weather and conditions wise for me. So I've been staying away, but I'm eager to get back into them. Ross Paul says, "Hey Kofuzi, how long did it take to recover from your runner's knee? Did you continue running during that period?" Yeah, I mean, my path was a little bit circuitous because I didn't know what I had at first, and so I never stopped running, but I went to like 50% mileage, and I did a lot of work on the bike or on a bike. And from beginning to end, it was probably a couple of months where it was affecting me. So, but once I really started like figuring out, okay, this is what it is, and here's some things that I think I can do about it. That part probably took about a month, so it took a while. It wasn't like oh, I just did this. It wasn't like oh, I just turned this way while I was running and all of a sudden things were great. It wasn't like that. So it took a while, but in the big scheme of things, considering how much it was bothering me, a really fast recovery, I think. I did reduce intensity, no workouts, and I reduced mileage quite a bit. But I also did a lot of other exercises and rehab type of work. All right. Matt says, when do you expect an update on the Hyperion Elite 2? What do you mean by update? Like, when will I make an update video on it? Or like, when do I think there'll be a Hyperion Elite 3? If it's a Hyperion Elite 3, I don't know when they're going to do a Hyperion Elite 3. The Hyperion Elite 2 didn't come out till later in the year last year, right? Or did it come out in the summer? I would not expect that in less than 12 months from when the Hyperion Elite 2 came out. The update on my Hyperion Elite 2 will probably be a while. I think I've got like 40 miles on them, something like that. So, yeah, we'll get there. And I do have some updates to tell you guys about. But like, for example, on mine, I was running a lot on dirt roads. And there's, strategic rubber coverage on the outsole of that Hyperion Elite 2. The rocks that have, the part of the DNA flash that has been directly in contact with the road, very, very chewed up in a surprising way. So it's not terrible. I could still certainly run in them for a long time, but it was a surprise. All right. Carrie Smith asks, Mike, what is your go-to carbon racer if you can only buy one? Adios Pro. That's what I would buy. Mike House asks, do you wash your white shoes if you step in a mud puddle? No, I just look for a water puddle. Then after that. Yeah, Albert Long said the game yesterday was disappointing. Was hoping for a nail biter at least. Yeah, I mean, I think I would have watched more if it was close, but I don't think it was. We started watching like 9 minutes left in the second quarter. So like even then, I mean, it was still kind of close. And then Tampa scored another touchdown. And I was like, okay, here's where it starts. Lass Burrup says, hey everyone, first timer watcher, cold greetings from Denmark. Well, welcome, Lass. Great to have you here. Rat Chicago says, my Nova Blasts are now more salt than shoe, it seems. That's how my Peg Trails are. They are like that crusty white. They just looks kind of gross. Yeah, but that's what a winter shoe is supposed to look like, I think. Oh, Matt says about the person, I forget who it was, running in the Carbon X2s. He says it's the low drop in the shoe that could be bothering the calves. It could be. That's a 5mm drop shoe. So depending on what you've been used to before, some people are more sensitive to heel drop. That to me doesn't really, the change, I'll notice it, I'll feel it, but it won't normally bother my calves. But it definitely can be something. So that could be it too. And maybe not the carbon, but maybe with the heel drop. CV76 got denied to London. He's going to try again next year. Yeah. That's like I feel like with a lot of those races, like you just try every year and then at one point, maybe you'll get it. This kind of thing. Javier Quintero wants to know, what's going on, Javier? Says, what's your race calendar look like this year? So right now I did sign up finally for the Shamrock Shuffle Virtual 8K March 21st or March 19th through 21st. You can kind of pick your day on that weekend. And then after that, I'd like to run a June marathon, preferably in person, but a lot's going to have to fall in line for that to happen. So I don't know that it will. Otherwise, I might do like a time trial. Maybe not like an all-out marathon, but a pretty strong effort, trying to just like get that 26.2 in. And then I've also signed up for Chicago, so I'm in for Chicago, October 10th, assuming it happens. So that's so far it. I don't know what else there's going to be on there. A lot of that's going to be, depends on what happens in the next like 6 months. All right, it looks like I'm scrolling down again. So. I'm falling behind on the chat. I'm going to try to catch up. I'm going to look mainly for the questions. Ricardo Katagiri says, hey, Ko, does it happen that you feel one of your legs is much weaker than the other? I feel my left leg generally weaker than the right one. I guess I have to do more one leg exercises. It's certainly, I think it's not only possible, but probable that one leg is weaker than the other. You like, just like you have a dominant hand, like people get right or left-handed. Yeah, everyone has a dominant leg. And so like this is something that I learned from high school when I did long jump, high jump, and pole vault. There's a leg that you prefer to launch from. And so for me, that's my left leg. And then the other leg tends to be a little bit weaker. I mean, it's akin kind of to like, skating being regular or goofy foot. There's just a way that feels more natural to you. So like there's something so you could be weaker on one side versus the other. And yeah, one leg, like single leg exercises, isometric exercises are going to help even that out, I think. All right. New Betra says, long run day ended up being snowstorm day yesterday. Couldn't find traction. So easy 13 turned into 2 hours at tempo threshold HR. I know the feeling. Co, do you ever use nano spikes or anything for icy conditions? I've never done that before. But I was, and people always kind of recommend it. And I'm like, I don't really need it. I run on like some icy stuff, but where I am in Chicago, it's usually somewhat like salted and plowed. If it's not, it's usually just snowy, so I'm fine. But then I was listening to that Ryan Hall podcast. I forget what it's called, but he was talking about how he likes the yak tracks, the things that you put like on your shoes. He's like, and they're small enough, you could put them in your pack if you got a pack afterwards, if you get to a clean spot and go from there. And I'm like, oh, I would never think of that. But I don't know if it's that convenient. Maybe I can do something like that. I've thought about it, but I don't own anything like that. See, Josh is in here. I don't know where in the conversation that is. I don't understand that one. But I see. Talking about shoes that you're going to save from one year to the next. Yeah, you can put the shoes into hyperspace sub-sleep. There you go. Just don't wake them up early. All right. Let's see, what do we got here? Ben Browning wants to know, was there any advertising of interest to us as runners? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I saw any. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of the commercials, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. But I mean, I think the Olympic one, the one about, was it the Toyota one about their girl who was adopted, but like, she got the call from the orphanage and they were saying that she had some problems with her legs and she was going to need amputations, but the parents were very excited to welcome her into their home anyway, Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of Tatiana McFadden's story as well. But so that from an Olympic perspective and just from swimming is different than running, but I feel like that's a pretty close connection, I would say anyway. But I say that's probably the closest. Emmanuel Medina says, are you running Houston 2022? I haven't thought that far ahead. I would like to kind of redeem myself at Houston and have a better run. I do like having that that time in the year of having a marathon, but more likely, if things work out, I would probably, if I could pick things, I would probably rather do like a Disney marathon in 2022, and that is usually in January. So I'll probably pick that over the Houston Marathon, because I think they'd only be like a week or two apart, if not the same weekend. Let's see. Andreas Galuza said, I tried the Ed Bud recommended boomerang insoles today. These are really great. A bit pricey though due to shipping from UK. Interesting. I'll have to go check that out. I don't know what you're talking about with the boomerang insoles. But is everything still kind of messed up with is it Brexit? What's messing up shipping to the UK? Is that still like a thing? Like is it still causing problems? Interesting. Mark Salzman says, got New Balance 860 version 11. Like them? I don't think I've ever run in the 860. The 60s, I believe, are stability shoes. So if that's right, then I probably won't try the 860. Try to stay away from stability shoes. Ben Browning wants to know, Mike, any fasting at all? I don't normally fast unless it's just kind of on accident due to poor planning. Like today's run this morning wasn't fasted. I did manage to chug some Gatorade before I went on the run. But like normally my runs in the morning, I don't really do a good job eating. So most of my runs tend to be fasted. But it's only because on accident. It's not intentional. Trisho's coming in from Ontario, Canada. Welcome. Longtime lurker, first-time commenter. Well, welcome. Thanks for chiming in today. Thanks, Kofuzi, and everyone participating for all the great running content. Well, we're so glad to have you here. Totally cool if you want to just hang out too, but thanks also for letting us know that you're here. Welcome, Trish. Sarah Mims says, tried new lemon lime flavor for the first time today. She's only had orange before, and she enjoyed it. I'm trying to think. Have I had the lemon lime before? I'm going to have to try that. I do like a good lemon lime. I'm going to have to find that. I don't think I've ever tried it. Thanks, Sarah. Runner Dre said, what's the deal with the London Marathon? What's the expected field size if all goes to plan? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Like I was listening to a podcast today. It was, I think, the Sidious Mag podcast. And they do like they did like a monthly news roundup, and they did the January news roundup. And they were talking about, I think this was on yesterday's run where I heard them talk about it. Maybe it was today I think it was yesterday that I listened to it. But they were saying like, man, this fall is going to be amazing in terms of like the fall marathon schedule, having all these marathons all right in a row. And they were like, although it's pretty much the fall marathon season we were going to have last year, but now it's this year. And we just hope that the same thing that happened last year doesn't happen this year. So again, I mean, I think if all goes to plan is kind of like a pretty big deal, but I don't know what the expected field size is. But it seems like from Twitter, the people that I follow on Twitter, it seems like a lot of people came up with L's. They did not get in to the lottery. Super Smalt says, as far as the Anheuser-Busch, she said the only AB commercial I saw was for Budweiser Zero, the new alcohol-free beer. Guess they're done with O'Doul's. Yeah. O'Doul's, that's funny. Interesting. I think Budweiser Zero sounds fancier, but it sounds like a low-calorie beer and not like an ultra. I mean, I know they have Michelob Ultra, but it sounds like an even lower-calorie beer. But I wouldn't think of it as NA. Interesting. You know what was funny is like that sign guy was at the Super Bowl doing like a Bud Seltzer commercial or something like that, or like promotion, like they paid for him to go there, which I felt like was a little bit off brand for that sign guy, because I feel like that sign guy is usually about like encouraging people to wear masks, and like, yeah, I mean, I guess Budweiser's paying for you to go to the Super Bowl and presumably paying him a lot to go to the Super Bowl and hold up his signs. But I'm just like, I don't know. If you're the guy that's been like telling people on the internet like they should put on their masks, like going to Florida for the Super Bowl is like the last place that you'd want to go, or maybe the exact place that you do need to go. He was wearing a mask the entire time, at least from what I could see. All right. Scroll down. Okay. Ben Browning says, Mike, TicWatch 3 Pro, great Matt H running review up. And he's very clear on his role as a smartwatch alternative to Apple Watch. Yeah, I'll have to look at that because I just couldn't find a way to make it a good running watch. I think it's a pretty compelling smartwatch alternative to Apple Watch. I like that it's a round watch face. I don't like square watch faces. But I just didn't like it very much as a running watch. I just think that like OS wear is just the development isn't there, you know? And so like the apps that are there are really, really basic, and it kind of brings me back to the world in a lot of ways to the world of like feature phones, not smartphones, but remember feature phones. Like with the feature phone, it was like whatever you bought the phone and it had on it, that was what you had. So if it had Snake, you had a game on your phone. If it didn't have Snake on your phone on it, you didn't have any games on your phone. That's kind of what like Wear OS feels like to me. It just it's not fully developed. I don't know how to fix it, but you know, I just I didn't love it. I mean, I just feel like on the other hand, if you know, one of the yeah, I don't know. I think there's just some major like structural, or not structural, but like architectural, maybe is the right word for it, hurdles from the way the software is kind of like handled that makes the TicWatch 3 difficult to use as a sport watch for runners anyway. But I'll check out that Met H running review. All right. 100 Max Power says, what are your thoughts on the Kipchoge collection? Have you ordered any of it yet? I think it looks great. It's not really for me. I probably won't get any of it, but I think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, I just you know, I like when I see Kipchoge like doing like, what was it? What was the magazine spread that it wasn't for GQ, was it? Was it for GQ? When he was like photographed in just like these like weird, like very fashion forward pieces. And then like even just like this Kipchoge collection, like to me, it just makes him seem like just like larger than life when he has those. And it reminds me of like when I look back at pictures of Bruce Lee, like not in movies, but like hanging out, and he just looked amazing, like in aviators and like skinny jeans and like a turtleneck or whatever. You know, I just feel like, wow, the guy like just exudes confidence, and just that you can feel the charisma like coming through the image, you know? So like, I think it's amazing, but I probably won't get any. Albert Lung said, wore my Path Kofuzi shirt long sleeve yesterday. Really like it. Mike can send you a DM on IG. Feel free to use a picture in your IG stories. Awesome. Thanks. I will for sure. I wore mine today on my 2 degree Fahrenheit run with a the Craft winter jacket, and just those 2 things were fine. I was warm enough on the top side. So yeah, I think that it's amazing how well it does. And not just that, the Tracksmith long sleeve that I've been wearing as well, that one just does an amazing job of keeping me warm. I don't need like triple layers. I can go with 2 with those. I've been loving it. Let's see what else we got here. Music Stuff Some says, have you ever read the book that just came out a few months back, Out of Thin Air? I'm reading it just now. I don't think I've read that one. All right. I think the chat just jumped on me again. Sorry, guys, just because I'm having a hard time keeping up today. Let's see, what do we got here? Mark Saltzman says, thoughts on the 860? Okay, on the New Balance 860 version 11. I got them last Saturday. Roads are too wet. Didn't use them yet. Yeah. I just think I don't know. I don't really pay attention much to the stability shoes just because they don't agree with me. They tend to give me some knee pain whenever I run in them. Yeah, Cody Davis says, for the Super Bowl in Florida, it's kind of awkward to have 7,000 healthcare workers at a potential super spreader event. I know they were vaccinated, but still. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be like a really weird time. And I think that we're almost there, where like a large portion of the population is going to be vaccinated and like we're like, woo, we're ready to go. We're back to normal. And like the rest of us are like, well, what are you doing? Well, why are there so many people there? Why are you guys giving high fives? You know, like feel like it's going to be a very strange time. There's another part of the country that's going to be like, see, they're doing it. We can do it too. Which will be even weirder for the rest of us that are, holed up in the basement for, so to speak. All right. Udit Meta says, seems like TicWatch Wear OS might die soon after Google acquiring Fitbit. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know how these guys are making a go of it. I think the Wear OS side of it is very, very strange. Because on that side, you also have players like Fossil and like Citizen and like traditional watchmakers that are incorporating a lot of smartwatch features into their like regular watches, quote unquote, regular watches. And so like the Android side of watches, like smartwatches, takes on a very different flavor to me than the Apple Watch does. Apple Watch seems much more fitness oriented, which is why the Fitbit acquisition makes a lot more sense. But the problem that I have with it is that like with Wear OS, my problem is that like it's not open. There aren't like apps you can download. It seems like a closed ecosystem. Like what you buy is what you get, and you can't get more apps to make it more customizable, to make it more what you want to do. Fitbit is exactly like that too. You can't even pair an external heart rate monitor, as far as I know, to any Fitbit devices. And so like that kind of like we close our ecosystem down because we want to control our experience just doesn't seem to bode well for a brand that has a hard time getting developers to come in and write apps for their ecosystem. So like, I don't know. And then then there's watches like Sunto that are trying to use Wear OS, I think, to try and maybe differentiate themselves in the running GPS watch market, or maybe offload some of the app development or like the OS development to, and leverage what Wear OS has to offer. But I feel like I don't think that's been all that successful either. So it's a weird space right now. Josh Weisbecker says, looking to get the Nike Air Zoom Alpha Fly Next Percent shoes. That's like it's such a mouthful to say the full name. Are they worth the money, and how do they hold up? 200, 300 miles before they are done? I don't have personal experience in terms of the long-term longevity of the shoe. Typically for Vaporfly shoes, like the ZoomX based carbon plated shoes, I would normally say they're great to race in for up to 120 up to 150 miles. After that, you'll get another 150 miles out of them as your workout day shoe. So 300 miles, but not 300 miles of racing necessarily. So kind of that's where the longevity is. The Alpha Fly seems to be a little bit more durable from a race perspective, from kind of like the anecdotal reports that I've been kind of seeing. So, the dollar per mile calculus or arithmetic is a little bit more favorable. The question of are they worth the money? I think absolutely. But, that's going to be value is always a very subjective thing. So it's a lot of money. So, it's going to depend. But, a lot of people are running in them, and I don't think it's a mania. I don't think it's all hype. I think the shoe is legit. It's really good. But it's not a prerequisite. It's not a requisite to be able to go out there and have a great time running. Yeah, Frank says Wear OS does have an open API. Yeah, they do, but there's but like, you know, it's like you invited everyone to the party, but no one showed up. That's the problem. So it feels like it's very closed because there's nothing there. There isn't Audible. Like Audible doesn't have an app. There isn't a Stride app. Even like Strava has an app, I think, but you know, I don't. It's just not none of it works very well. Adidas has an app, but I think that you can see, I think, your pace and your distance, but not your heart rate. Like there's like, it's very limited in terms of the data that you can see, and you can't configure into the data screens. So it's like they told someone, hey, make this app, and someone's like, this is like my third day, I just got my coding certificate like 2 weeks ago, and they were like, just do it, and they're like, okay, fine, here, I'm done. It just seems like everything's very rushed, and like, you know, you got your logos on a blue screen or whatever, but you know, it's not working for me, you know. Eric Fensky wants to know, where can I get 3-inch shorts and singlets that aren't shoe brands? One place that I would look is East Bay and Running Warehouse. Both East Bay and Running Warehouse sell stuff that is designed for like cross-country teams, but you can buy single units. But also Roadrunner Sports has like their own brand of R gear stuff that you can get. Chicken Legs, I think, sells 3-inch shorts. Janji sells 3-inch shorts. So some of the apparel, like the running apparel brands, have 3-inch shorts and singlets. So Janji has singlets as well. Tracksmith has shorts. I think they have 2-inchers. I don't know if they have 3-inchers. I think they have 3-inch shorts. So like those, like all like the usual like apparel brands I would look at. I don't think Kraft has 3-inch running shorts, but Kraft has singlets, I think. I'm not sure. I think of Kraft mainly as a winter running apparel brand, but I know they have summer stuff too. Yeah, Martha said, Kofuzi just said what I wrote. Janji and Tracksmith are great, but more expensive. Yeah, those are some of, I mean, the Tracksmith jersey is so nice. The Janji one is very thin, but it gets a little bit clammy sometimes. Like when you get really sweaty, that it's super thin, but it like sticks to your skin a little bit. But yeah. But it is one that I enjoy. So those are some that are not shoe brand ones. I'm trying to think of who else that I like. I know I like the R gear from Roadrunner Sports. They sell singlets that are pretty cheap, pretty comfortable. They're a little on the baggy side, even when I go a size down. But you know, price to performance is pretty good. Where'd it go? Someone said Lululemon has 3-inch shorts. Here we go. Chanzhou, they're on sale. I might have to look at that. Interesting. I don't own any Lululemon. I've never tried it before. Jody says you can get Under Armour shorts because everyone knows they really don't sell running shoes. That's funny. Jeff Gogi says, I'm just going to throw out Target brand, All in Motion, 3-inch shorts. Speaking of, I want to see a Target brand YouTube review channel. Oh, interesting. I have to look at those. Shredder said the Tracksmith is the Harrier, right? Yeah, I mean, they have a Harrier. They have like lines. And there's a Harrier short. There's a Harrier long sleeve. I think that there is a Harrier singlet. I'm not sure. And Orr McGowan says, Athlete Special makes running apparel. He does. He's got shorts, split shorts, very, very short shorts. And then he has like hoodies and does he do, he has t-shirts as well, I think. Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff. All right. Let's see. Someone was bringing in some options from the UK. Where'd it go? Let me find it. Sorry. I'm sorry, I missed it. It's in the chat somewhere. Christopher Rochelle says, I want to see a review of someone running in jorts that they bought from Goodwill and cut to 3 inches. I mean, there's like, I think that those videos exist, not a review, but I think people have done like jean shorts miles and like, I mean, certainly like the jeans mile, like that's a thing. Ryan Doozer ran like a Tarahumara ultra marathon in jeans before. So like, I mean, they were designer jeans too. I think they were really expensive. But yeah, so I mean, that's certainly been done. I haven't done it. I don't really wear jeans anymore, but I mean, who wears jeans now anyway? But so I don't know. That's an interesting idea. All right. Christopher Rochelle says, though, there would be plenty of pockets in jorts. There would be. And there's that little pocket on the front right. That could be like the key pocket, and then you have the main pocket for your gel. I appreciate that. I appreciate the pocket within the pocket. That's always a good thing. Oh, man. Yeah, for a jeans mile, like a skinny jeans mile, like a hipster mile, that'd be funny. Oh, man. Albert Long wants to know if the dog is snoring. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he had a I don't know if he's had a rough night or what. He's just been a little bit out of sorts lately. So like he's been doing a lot of sleeping during the day, and at night he's just been a little bit unsettled. I don't know. Jason Dahl said there was a guy who did the Chicago Super Sprint Triathlon in a full business suit. That's amazing. I mean, that sounds about right though too, because I feel like in Chicago there's a lot of people that wear business suits during the day and then are triathlon training at nights and weekends. I feel like that's like a pretty common thing. I mean, I know people that are like that. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense to see that here. All right. Eric Fensky says there's also the hammer hook on jorts in case you need to nail something on a run. But you know what? Maybe that hammer hook, like if you had like painter's jeans, right? If you took like painter's jeans and like, I'm sure you could hook something onto that you would need. Maybe like an extra water bottle. You could take like if you have the water bottles that go on a spy belt, that could go on the jorts hook. That thing, the painter's hammer hook. I don't know. You think we might be onto something, guys? Probably not. All right, let's get a couple more, and then I got to get going for today. All right. Paul Kane said, Treadmill Order 20th of October has arrived in the UK, hoping it finally turns up by the weekend or soon after. That is incredible. That is insane. Wow. That's taken a long time to get there, Paul. Why do you think it's, I mean, oh man. I mean, are they just that far back ordered for the treadmills? That's incredible. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. Paul, I hope you get your treadmill soon. You've certainly waited long enough for it. That is insane. Tomorrow's video is going to be about a set of earbuds that I just don't like at all. They're not working for me. It's not all their fault, I think, but I'll explain more about that tomorrow. No. That's not tomorrow. That's going to be Wednesday's video. Tomorrow's video, ZoomX Invincible. I took them out for a run yesterday. We'll talk about that tomorrow's video. So that'll be a good one, I think. I think a lot of people will be interested in that one. And then we'll do another live stream, Trivia Tuesday. Well, we'll think of something. We'll think of a trivia. I'll think of a trivia topic for tomorrow. Same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and stay safe out there, everybody.